Are we on? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. How we doing? How we doing? All right. If you're new to Periscope, there's an upgrade. So you gotta, I know we're sideways to some of y'all, but you gotta get the upgrade. If you're on an iPad, it's not gonna work. We got an important episode today. Paul is dancing. We gotta turn this around. He was dancing.
I have no idea what she's talking about. Just getting ready.
All right.
So
this is for Kenzie. She loves Beyonce. Kenzie, are you on?
She does love Beyonce.
Kenzie, are you on?
Is this Beyonce? Oh yeah.
It is. It's Beyonce.
Okay.
I know we're screaming at you. We'll turn it down. We'll turn it down. Key West in the house. I haven't been in the Keys in so long. Val's in the Keys. Beautiful. Get a piece of key lime pie for me.
What?
Oh, we love you too. We love you. Wake up. Okay, I don't have any notes again. Don't you hate that? Literally, we're trying to prepare for today's episode, and today's going to be a hard one, but it's going to be an important one. Today's going to be a hard episode because I don't know if we can teach this to you. We're going to try, but so hopefully we can get this information across. So who else is on? Love you guys. We love you too. Oh my God. What up, Atlanta? All right. Yes, we're going to Miami. We've got a gym to open up, but I think we're leaving maybe in a week or two. So yeah, Hawaii's in the house, Florida.
Cool.
All right. So we are on episode 80. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
My name is Lynette.
Time to go. My name is Paul.
And we do these every day. We're committed to you for 90 days. So thank you for supporting us and loving us and being on and listening to us.
Guys,
we can only talk so much, but
right in the middle of the 90-day game plan. We're coming into the weekend of week 3, and a lot of momentum in people's businesses. I know this is working, so...
I know, the picture's not right, but...
Picture's not right? Why? Your picture is sideways, and I'm not updated.
Uh-oh. Okay, so...
You want me to turn the thing?
I guess we should. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll turn the other way.
Hold on,
guys. Okay, yeah, everybody is sideways.
Everybody.
Oh, I'm here, though. I'm here. Here, I'll hold that.
Yeah, you hold on.
We'll watch Paul do this.
Oh, I'm good.
Hello. Hang tight, guys.
Yeah, don't watch me do this. I have no idea.
We all look itty bitty.
It's it's old school.
You want to see my house? There you go. Hold on, he's got to fix the iPod.
The iPod?
Oh,
tripod.
Well, tripod. I'm sorry, not iPod. We'll go back to old school.
Yeah, plus she gets closer to me that way.
No, we had it like this, but now we moved it like this. So we're going to keep it this way.
Cool.
Okay, so hold on, let me give the phone back to Paul. Which is weird because I have my handy-dandy whiteboard, and it's landscape, so we'll have to kind of like move the camera back. But it's okay. We'll figure this out together.
Is that working, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I said it's
better. Cool. Okay. So what were we saying? I have no idea.
So yesterday was a pretty cool episode. We talked about how to utilize the website. Are you guys having any difficulties with that, or are you having luck with that? That's good. Talking about leveraging your time. The website is just another option, and it's amazing. If you've never utilized the website, you're in for a treat, because that thing, once you get it going, it's like your business builds on autopilot.
Seriously,
so fun.
guys, yeah.
So fun. Do we have a PC? No, I've got an Apple. I'm an Apple girl. I've got an Apple phone, iPhone. Not sure what that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but the good news is we're going to crystallize some mysterious things for you today. A lot of people have been with us for a while, and we've talked about prospecting, and we talked about connecting with people, and we talked about what it means to reach down with your team. And we're going to go in a little bit more detail in those aspects because I know a lot of people have questions about that. Now, the good news is that we make it super simple, just like always. So this is nothing difficult, and we do have some homework for you, so that'll be fun too. But a lot of people get hung up. They're still getting hung up talking to people. They're still getting hung up kind of rallying the troops, talking to their team, making their efforts and their communications the most impactful, and we're going to try to clarify that.
Okay, so real quick, did you guys, let's kind of wrap a few things up first before we go into training, because today's training is about communication, and it's probably one of our hardest trainings that we need to do, but it's got to be the most, it is one of the most important, because the things that we're going to be telling you is going to make or break you as a leader. So it needs to be said, and ironically, Jill Bowman, who is our 13-star platinum and who enrolled us, actually talked about this in our business page, so I thought it was a beautiful synchronicity. So I don't know if you guys saw my video yesterday regarding cleanse, how I do a cleanse. The power of videos is amazing. When we talk about exposure, how to expose yourself about the business or about what you're doing, videos are the way to go. So I did a video on my personal page, and I've done videos also in my product page, but what I wound up doing on my personal page is turn the labels around, and I showed everybody what a cleanse day was, what I do, because I'm on a 2-day cleanse right now. And many of you thought, oh, I had like 11 people share my video. Guys, no sharing.
And let's clarify this.
This is really important. I don't, because we always teach leaders go first, so step up into your leadership, empower yourself. And the number one rule, actually there's two, is don't tag people and don't share. We need to have you step up in your leadership, so we're going to teach you how to make your own videos. I can do that, and you can use mine as a template. But I want you all to know that I may have sounded like I was a professional, but I had a cheat sheet in the background. Y'all didn't even see it. I wrote down what I was supposed to say with my Ionics, although I didn't say the word Ionics, and what I said with my Ice Delights. I had that in the background so y'all couldn't see it. So that's why I sounded so professional. I think I did like 3 takes on this video and wasted a half a jar or half a bottle of my Cleanse for Life. Y'all don't know the struggle.
We have to send in another order. Guys, the whole point is not that we don't like you guys sharing our stuff, but really when we're talking to you about branding yourself, we're talking to you about putting yourself in a light that gives you the most impact to your audience. Now, your network of people on your Facebook page should be specific to you. So they want to look to you as the person doing the video, not the person connected to the person doing the video.
Well, in addition, you want to manipulate the Facebook algorithm, and when you share, it doesn't manipulate the Facebook algorithm, but when you upload your own video, it manipulates the Facebook algorithm, which increases your exposure. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're having a little bit difficulties, hang on, Jill's calling me.
Guys, this is live. This is how we roll.
This is live. Hello, Jill. Hey, Jill.
So
yes, we're live on Periscope. I'm talking to you on Periscope, Jill. Hello.
She said hi.
We stop everything for Jill.
Because that's how she rolls. But guys, real quick, I just want to cover a couple things. I know we've been over this real quick before, but for some of you that have not been with us before, I do want to just go over the rules of the game real quick. Now, the rules of the game are important because it sets a mind frame in which we can structure our way of acting and showing up to the world. And the rules of the game simply are a framework that you can approach anything in your life. So number 1, you are 100% responsible for your efforts and your results. Number 2, we always talk about energy first, techniques and mechanics second. Number 3, we talk about detaching yourself from the outcome and working without emotion or expectation. Put all your emotions in the goals and affirmations. That'll be an important one for today's topic. And then number 4 is be like water. You have to learn to flow. That will also be an important one for today's topic. So we're going to tie those in together with what we're talking about today, communication, and then we'll move on from there.
It's really important. This is one of the most amazing books. If you do not have that book, it's a classic. Everyone should already have read this 3 or 4 times. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is really important because many of you are really struggling as leaders, really struggling to build a team. You might be able to enroll people, but you can't build a team. And this is where we're going to kind of hopefully make the connection and help you really streamline everything. Because there's a way to communicate with prospects and there's a way to communicate with your team. But I'm still getting messages, even though many hundreds of people are seeing us on Periscope. But the way that you're communicating with me really tells me how you're communicating with your world. And we've got to fix that. And if you're a leader, I hope that you're going to stay on and watch us, because I want you to start picking up on these things with your own team so you can help them. Because your team won't grow unless you can reach down and help them learn how to communicate. Paul and I are whites. We don't like a whole lot of people, and we're really homebodies.
We're party animals.
We have like 2 friends. We don't get out and socialize. But when we got into this business, we knew that we had to. So we had to learn. We had to learn to communicate in a way that's strategic and intentional, so that when we ask specific questions, it'll always lead back to the business. It's not something that you just go out and about and just figure it out on your own. Paul and I messed up a whole lot in the beginning.
This is a game of practice.
It doesn't come easy for most of us. If you're a yellow, you guys are masters at this. You guys are masters at just talking and communicating and get to know one another. But when you're talking to a white or a blue, oh man, we got to go meet people and talk to people.
Guys,
so
I do want to talk about 2 other books now. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Amazing, a classic. We've read it dozens of times. That's probably one of the greatest books for taking the eyes off yourself and learning how to communicate with other people. However, I do like 2 other ones, and they're on my Scribe, so I don't have the physical book, but I do have the Scribe book. So you can look at it's called How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds. By Nicholas Boothman. How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds by Nicholas Boothman. And then the other one is one of my favorites, which you'll see.
Oh, Reds, I got something for you, so Reds, stay on.
And then the other book is How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends. Guys, that book is really easy. It's an easy read, and it's very beneficial. It opens your eyes to a lot of things, like the communication is not as hard as we make it out to be. So
there's certain things, again, that Paul and I will kind of help you recognize, because again, it's a recognition. You have to train your eyes, your ears, and what to look for, especially when you're talking to prospects, and specifically when you're starting out talking to your team. There's a way to communicate that will increase your business. And if you can get through this language barrier, this communication barrier, I'm telling you, your business will shift. Because many of you are doing the techniques that Paul and I are talking about. You're doing the 4 F's, you're doing the 2-week turnaround, you're doing the rule of 5, you're doing all the little things, the technical things, but you still can't make the connection with your team. Because guys, and this is from Selena Hester over at Isogenics. When she said this, it really got me, because I went, ouch. Oh, she's talking to me. And it's this quote: anybody can post on Facebook. Anybody can post on Facebook. So you can post all day, but if you can't connect with your team, and if you can't connect properly with your prospects and customers, your business isn't going nowhere. Nowhere. So stop posting all the time. It is truly about connecting and encouraging and inspiring people and making people feel so good inside. So I'm going to bring out my handy dandy whiteboard, because it's just something that I have to do, because I've been a student all of my life, and I have to see it kind of written out so I can compartmentalize it in my head. And I hope that it kind of helps you too. I know it always sounds like it's like we're in school session, but if we can kind of break things down much more simpler, I think many of you, especially if you're brand new, then it makes it so much more easier for everybody to understand. So did you want to add a few things? Because this one's really important. I know it sounds a little boring. It's a boring episode, but if you can grasp this, it's so important. I promise you, your business will shift over the next year, not just over the next 90 days.
Well, guys, I just have to remind you of a simple idea that we talk about all the time. This may sound boring, and it may be boring, but most of the stuff we do is boring. It's unsexy.
It's true.
It's monotonous. It's kind of like repetitive. But that's not why we do it. We do it because the results are sexy. Okay? Yeah. So that's where we're going to. Now, before we start out, she's going to bring out the whiteboard, but we're going to talk about 10xing your communication. not only with your team, but also with your prospects. And a lot of people, we talk about the 4 F's, and sometimes people have trouble getting to the 4 F's.
Yeah.
They're like, okay.
So we gotta scoot it back a little bit, and let's kind of show you what we do before actually applying the 4 F's. And if you don't know what we're speaking of regarding the 4 F's, don't worry, we'll go over that. Paul and I always layer in our trainings, and I know many of you are brand new, or you've only seen just a few of our episodes. Just hang with us. Mm-hmm. Everything will start making sense, I promise.
So like this is the journey to the 4 F's, and we've got a few things that we want to talk about, but the name of the episode is If You See Something, Say Something. Okay?
So grab a pen and grab a piece of paper, especially if you're brand new. People that watch us already know, they've got notes already handy. But this is really important. What Paul is saying is, what is this off of a book, or is this off of...
Well, there's some information that I took out of those few books that I just recommended. Okay. And then she's got the whiteboard to kind of distill it down even more.
Okay.
So there's 4 things that typically you're going to do, and we actually kind of use the easiest one first with you guys with the 4 F's.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is to have you become a rock star leader. That's what this is about. This is really important. So I want to beat the dead horse head in and just really make sure you understand this part, because it was something that I missed in the beginning. It was something that I missed in the very early stages of my business, and I wish that I could go back and redo it, but I can't. So we don't want this to happen to you. So that's why I want to beat this in, okay? So we want you to become rock star leaders, and I don't want you to wait 9 months later to figure it out like we did, okay?
So the good news is we talked about complimenting and ask a question. A lot of people are familiar with that one. That kind of leads to the 4 F's. That's fairly easy, but not always is there a scenario in which you can compliment and ask a question. There's a few other techniques that we like to use, because we were talking about this the other day because of people that I was talking to at the gym.
And we're referring to when you're prospecting, not online.
Oh, yeah,
what we're talking today is prospecting when you're out and about, you're eating at a restaurant, you're out in Target, you're just walking around or whatever. So this is outside, because remember, we're in week 3. We're finishing up week 3. We're breaking the status quo. We're doing things that's making us uncomfortable, doing things that we've never done before. So this is what we're referring to. Many of you are really uncomfortable with this part. Yes, this is kind of old school stuff, but we've got to master it too. And until you get really comfortable with what Paul is about to say, you're going to struggle in this business. We've got to master the old stuff before we can get to the new stuff too, okay?
But guys, see, mastering and practicing talking to people about random things, opening conversations about random stuff, will only improve your conversation abilities online. So it's you'll be that much better because it's that much easier. There's less pressure. They're not in front of you. There's a whole different dynamic. But if you can do it and practice and learn how people are responding to what you're saying in a face-to-face interaction, it'll be easier.
You're so good at this too.
So
you're better than I am.
Well, I just I just throw the ball and hope it hits the hoop. You know what I mean? Like I never and this is why I talk about the rules of the game. Number 3, I always detach myself from the outcome. If I see something and I want to say something, then I'm just gonna say it. And if it comes out weird, well, then I'll learn for the next time. If it comes out okay and I can lead into a conversation, then good for me. But the whole point is that if you don't continually build your list, then your business is going to stop. You always have to do that. This will always be a part of our business. So complimenting and asking a question is one way to get to the 4 F's. Asking open-ended questions is another way to get to the 4 F's. There's also making a simple, positive, lighthearted comment. It could be, like one that I like to use, like, we're at a restaurant when we're in LA the other weekend, and we had this waiter, and he was waiting on us. And I was like, dude, do you have a brother named Thor? And he looked at me like, what? And I'm like, no, because you look exactly like him. And he's like, what? I'm like, the superhero Thor? And he started laughing. Anyway, that broke the ice. And then we got to talking. But, that something like that is lighthearted. It's a little bit goofy, and it came out of nowhere. He didn't expect it. But in a way, it was a compliment, because who doesn't want to look like Thor, right? Because he's a badass superhero. But the whole point is, lighthearted, positive comment could come out of nowhere, and that could open a conversation. And then the last one is simply introduce yourself. In certain scenarios, that might be the best course of action. You're like, hey, my name is Paul. I'm new to this area. Maybe you can help me with this. Something like that. Like anything. Like I've said some random stuff to open conversations. We've talked about this before, the sandwich story. I'm at the deli at the grocery store up the road, and the guy's getting the sandwich made for him for lunch.
Hey, Sasha.
And I'm like, hey, that's a good-looking sandwich. Have you had it before? Right? I use the compliment, ask the question technique.
He complimented the guy on a sandwich.
Yeah, that's a good-looking sandwich. Have you had it before? He started laughing. He's like, yeah, I've had it many times. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What do you do for a living? You just on lunch break? I just took control of the conversation and went into the next step. Anyway, we opened a conversation, and then from there we go to the 4 Fs, and you should do what I do, add them to the product page, off you go. So, I mean, it's that simple. Those things are really...
Well, it sounds simple because the whites are back there going, OMG, I'm not going to compliment anybody on a sandwich.
Well, that's cool, yeah. So, I mean, but it can be as stupid as that, or it can be as mellow and kicked back as something like, what is a person wearing? What are they doing? What are they saying? You can pay attention to that. You can also... if it's something that you're in need of and you're looking for, like asking directions, or Lynette had a really good one the other day. If you're in a place that you're not familiar with.
Okay, so let's back up.
Oh, okay.
Let's back up. Because I got a message from somebody on my team. Her name is Anne. She is amazing. So Anne, I think hopefully Anne is watching. And she's actually the one that sparked today's episode because I thought this is really good. A lot of people need to hear this. Anne is going out of town. And so she needs to know, how do you connect with strangers? You're in a brand new city, a brand new state. I don't know how to connect with people. So today's episode, before I bring the whiteboard out, we're going to teach you some things that you need to be looking for and listening for. Because some of you are really getting hung up on, I need to get them in my business. How do I even talk about isogenics? Or how do I talk about my business? That you've so much in your head that you're not stopping enough to listen for the clue or cue words that the other person is saying. So we're going to teach you what to listen for. And then we're going to teach you how to ask questions to make sure that the questions that you're asking will be so open-ended that they will answer you just so you can turn it back into your business. It's kind of like a little manipulation, but everything is genuine, everything is authentic. But some of you get really hung up on what to say. So we're going to teach you some tips and tricks that Paul and I learned along the way, because once you can get into the 4 Fs, once you can say, you should do what I do, 95% of the time, if not 100% of the time, they'll go, well, what do you do? And it's the perfect open segue for you to go, well, are you on Facebook? Then I can connect you to exactly what I do. But we'll teach you that part. But there's other things that you need to be listening for. Everybody's really having a lot of video connection problems.
I'm not sure what that's about today.
Okay, so hopefully you guys can catch us on the replay. If you're having connection issues, then find us on Twitter on your computer. Go to your laptop or computer and just find Global Executives on Twitter, and you can watch the replay much more smoother over there. But with that said, when Anne, when she travels to a brand new city, she has to be on the eye, on specifically watching and listening to what she's got to. So I tell you, this is really a hard episode to talk about.
Well, okay, so first off, you have to be in a state of, I am always open for business, okay?
So you're intentionally
if
trying.
You're not, if from the moment you wake up to the moment that you go to bed, that every single instance and action and happening in your life is not something that you recognize that could be related to your business, then we're not in the right mind frame. As soon as I leave this house, if there's a person around me, I'm assuming that eventually the topic of my business will come up. I just need to figure out how that's going to be the case.
That's great, because Jill also taught us that in the very beginning. She makes the intention that she's going to meet 2 people today. Like, you go out and leave your house with the intention of connecting with someone. And I don't want many of you to get anxious about connection. We'll teach you how to do that part. But even with like Anne, when she's going out of town, you can simply ask certain questions and then listen to see if what they say is what you're looking for. It's really important that you ask certain questions that lead in our case, since we're in the health and wellness industry, I'm going to ask certain questions that lead to health and wellness, because if that other person likes health and wellness, trust me, they're going to open up their mouth, and then I've made a connection with them. Mm-hmm. So for instance, if Anne is in a new city, or if you're in a brand new city, or it can be in the same city that you're in, purposely go into a store and ask and look for the employee and say, oh my gosh, this store is so amazing. It actually reminds me of a store back home where I'm from. Wait for the response. The other person will talk, the employee will talk, and then ask them, you know, I'm not from this area. I don't know if you live around here. And I'll go, yeah, I live around here. Well, I'm looking for a place that has really amazing salads. I'm on a health kick and I want a really good salad in this brand new city. Wait for their response. And they will either say, I don't eat salads, or they'll say, oh my gosh, there's an organic restaurant around the town that has organic dressing and they have these amazing gluten-free desserts, and they'll just start talking about salads. Now you've listened to what they're saying, because they're saying clue words, cue words to you, and you can go, wow, you're on a health journey too? So am I. You should do what I do.
See how that connects really easy.
But I'm the one that asked for salads. I may be interested in a burger right now and some tacos, but I'm going to ask this lady because she looks good and she looks like she's kind of fit or whatever. Do you know, or maybe she's a little overweight and you want to connect with her some way. Do you know of a really good place where I can find a great salad here in town? They'll either tell you or they won't, but I'm opening it up for a reason to see if she's health oriented. Right? Or do you know, I'm new to town, but I want to go to a yoga class. Can you recommend a yoga place in town? They will tell you either they are, or in Paul's case, I'm looking for a gym local. You know, you look like you work out. You know of a local gym here local. But you're opening it up to find out if they are health oriented, because they'll tell you yes or no, or kinda. But either way, I'm going to lead it to, well, you should do what I do. Okay? Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole point is, it doesn't matter what you start with, it just matters how you guide it into, you should do what I do. So it could be health related, it could be something that somebody's doing, for example, you're walking down a city street. This is a random example, okay? And there is a hot dog vendor on the corner selling corner hot dogs. How do you open a conversation to somebody who has the business entrepreneur mindset into relating to your business? Well, that's something that you would have to be a little bit creative about, but these are the kind of things that we think. These are the kind of connections that I'm putting together as I'm scanning the world, living through my day. So, for example, the hot dog vendor, going up there, talk about the menu. How long you been in business? Boom. Right there. Now we're talking about entrepreneur stuff. Oh, I've been here for 6 years. Great. How are you liking it? Good. Well, you should do what I do, because you have that kind of entrepreneur spirit, and I'm always looking for great people like that. Well, what do you do? Done.
But the whole things that I want, the clue or keywords that I want you to notice what Paul is saying is that we're always complimenting and then asking a question. This is how you're adding value and connecting with people. You are complimenting always and asking a question. If I'm in a brand new store and I'm looking around, oh, this is an amazing store. You know, how long have you worked here? That is a great necklace. Where did you get it? That's a great looking sandwich. You come here often? It's always compliment and then ask a question. That's how, it's a perfect way to connect with somebody, is to compliment, make them feel special, and then ask a question. So it doesn't always have to lead to the business.
Yeah,
does not always have to lead to the business, and many of you get really hung up that I have to ask a question regarding the business. No, you don't. Sometimes you do, and you act straight out. But most of the time, Paul and I are just complimenting and asking a question, right? So if we're 10xing everything this week, there's certain things that we want you to start really implementing this week and 10x everything. So you're going to start practicing more of these things. Getting out of your comfort zone. I know none of you don't want to do it, but we do. Because you will be surprised how easy some of these conversations are really, I mean, they talk.
Yeah, they like to open up.
They open up.
You know, the funny thing is when people talk about, like, you have to start a conversation with somebody, people freak out because they don't understand the point of that particular interaction. The whole thing of a conversation is, the main focus for you is to listen. but you have to spark it in order to start listening. So, for example, as long as you're complimenting, asking a question, or open-ended questions, those type of things, getting people to talk about themselves, the rest is just listening. Now you're in listening mode, like she said, looking for the clue or cue words to take it to the next level. So these things sound simple. They sound a little bit boring and monotonous, and not that kind of, I don't even know if it's a light bulb moment for anyone, but the point is, it doesn't have to be. These are so basic, so simple. Now, I know David Wood teaches about connecting with somebody, finding 5 common things with them.
So if you're in my company, have any of you been to UIA? You need to be, and you need to set up somewhere in your year for you to attend a UIA event. It is that important. If you've been, some of you have probably, because when I first went to a UIA event, I am not lying. I sat in the chair and I'm like, this is stupid.
This wasn't that long ago, guys.
This is my red coming out. I do not need this. And I even said, I don't need this shit. I really did. You know that monkey? I said that. I was so uncomfortable and I didn't want to be there. And I went all the way up to Seattle to listen to David T.S. Wood. Are you kidding me? I need to do this. And then literally within that hour, my hands went down. I was like, I'm having fun. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. I need you to go to a UIA event if you have not been to one yet. He will push the status quo because you literally have to get up out of your seat and talk to different people. And we talked to probably, 20, 30 people, different people around the room. It gets uncomfortable. But the whole purpose of this is for you to start practicing and finding something within, in our case, he made us find 5 things that we were connecting with someone. It's that important. You need to find something that you connect with somebody to make a connection. For instance, one of my personally enrolled added someone to my product page today. I know we're rambling, and I'll get to training in just a second. But this is really important because I need you to be really mindful now. I mean, everything with intention, everything is strategic. Don't just get on Facebook and go walking around town randomly. Have that intentional mindset that you're trying to connect with somebody. It makes a difference in your business, I promise. But even when I'm on Facebook, even when I'm on inside my product page, I'm strategically looking at everything. And one of my personally enrolled added someone into the page, welcomed them in, and then I hovered over the girl's name. And I always hover over the prospect's person's name to see if there's something I can connect with. What city she's from, maybe her banner has horses. I can connect with somebody if I love horses. There's something, or there's been many times when I actually click on her profile, do a quick look to see what she's about, find a connection, and then I can say something in the comment section in the product page. Because what I noticed was when I hovered over her name, had I not done it, I wouldn't have found out that she's from my hometown in San Angelo, Texas. San Angelo is a small little city, and I connected with her. And what did that do? It made her feel a little bit more like, oh, somebody's from San Angelo in this big old group? Oh, and I make a connection. So it's really important that you need to watch the prospects that are coming in there, especially if they're on your team or future downline. Find a connection with that person. It takes 2 seconds to hover over the name or click on their profile and just find something that you can connect them with. Please do that. Don't forget the little steps. I know it's so much easier to just go, hi, welcome, welcome, hi, welcome, heart, what? But fine, just exceed people's expectations. Exceed people's expectations and just take that one extra step. Because if we're talking about really dominating this industry, dominating, against everyone else, you need to stand out as a leader. So take that extra little step, find a connection with the prospect, and say something in the comment section. It's really important. But let's get on to this training real quick.
Yeah, we know this is true, that works really well, because if you're in your hometown, for you to talk to somebody that's a stranger in your hometown is not necessarily a normal thing for you to do. But if you were in another country and you heard somebody talking the same language as yours, then all of a sudden, instantly you have a connection with that person. You'd be like, hey, you're from the U.S. as well, or whatever. It sounds like you're from the U.S. Yeah, I'm from California. wow, I'm from Arizona. You guys don't even live in the same state, but all of a sudden you have a new connection. Like, you guys are besties because you're from the same country. You know what I mean? Like, but this is how it works. Like, if people find a connection, even, like she said, in this big group like this, there's somebody in the same town as me. Instantly. That's instant rapport right there, guys. You can't beat instant rapport.
Our job is to make them feel like family. Our job is to make people feel like family and that they're acknowledged and important. That is the distinction that today's episode is about. Is for you to make people feel important, make people feel special, whether it's a prospect, whether it's a customer, or whether it's someone on your team. You're always making the intention of making people feel special and important. This is what makes you stand out against everyone else.
Yeah.
This is why
nobody does this. Nobody stands out like this. Nobody takes the time to connect with people. Nobody takes the time to really get to know them. Nobody takes the time to open a conversation and actively, guide it into something that would be beneficial for them.
The people that are doing well in this business is because they've mastered and learned how to communicate better than you. That's it. We've learned to communicate and connect and keep the connection longer and better than you. That's it. And once you master that, because Paul and I didn't know how to do that in the beginning, but once you learn it, business changes.
So what do you say if people say, no, I'm not on Facebook? Well, we talked about this before in one of our many episodes, but just to generally go over that, number one, we have a bit of, not hesitation, but we have a bit of questioning on our part for ourselves. Okay, this is going to be more work for us. Do we want to take that on? If we do, the idea is to get them to an event. If there's no events in your area, then you're going to have to go belly to belly. No, I'm not on Facebook. Oh, that's okay. Well, let me get you more information. What's your phone number? You can send it through text. You can send it through email, whatever. And then we could sit down and talk more about it. So that's the simplest version of it. We can't go into detail because of today's time constraints, but we'll go into that a little bit further in the future.
Yeah. That's the whole purpose with the 4 F's. Is I'm trying to find out if you're on Facebook because I'm pre-qualifying you. If they're not on Facebook,
guys,
it's so hard to build the business if they're not on Facebook, because the whole idea with Facebook is that you got to herd the cats in, and then you use the secret sauce with the product page, and then you use your business page, and I can collect people in there and get the information out to them, educate them, love on them so much easier. I'm not saying that if they don't have Facebook, you can't build a massive team. That's not what I'm saying. It's just 3 times as hard. So I'm pre-qualifying people. I'm looking for people who understand how to use social media. I'm looking for people who understand the benefits of connecting on social media, specifically with Facebook. So get off Instagram. I know many of you are still on Instagram. Why are you on Instagram? Stop it.
We'll go.
Stop it. Using
We'll hit
Instagram.
that point again a little bit later.
Okay.
So we'll do our best with the landscape view and stuff.
The landscape, well, it's okay. Okay, so the whole purpose of this is how to reach rock star status. We need to help you learn how to communicate better, 10xing everything. It's really important that if you don't know how to communicate both with prospects, customers, and your team, you're going to really have a hard time building this business, and you will not have retention. The whole purpose of a team, the whole purpose of an organization is retention. Otherwise, you're going to be working twice as hard. Why no Instagram? We went over that in detail on another episode. You can't make the connection, authentic connections with 20 hashtags. You can't do it. I'm sorry. You don't have the proper leads. You can't go into the dip theory. You can't do videos properly. You can't. There's so many reasons.
You're minimizing your dialoguing capability.
You can't. There is no profit in Instagram. All the profits when you're making a transaction are made on Facebook.
In our industry.
In our industry.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you are out and about and you're trying to connect with a prospect, we already asked that question about Instagram. So when you're out and about with trying to connect with prospects, there's a certain thing that you've got to do in terms of training your eye, training your ears now. Paul talked about see and say. This is almost like forcing a conversation with somebody. You see something about somebody, so open your mouth and say something. But what do you say? If this person has a t-shirt and you notice they're from Cancun, you might want to say, that's a great Cancun t-shirt. Do you guys like to travel? So the whole point is you trying to intentionally look for something to say. And what do you say? Well, you compliment and then ask a question. This is key. You compliment and ask a question. And this gets uncomfortable if you've never done this before, but once you start practicing, it becomes automatic and so easy. Doors start opening up, and it's so much more easier to connect with prospects. So you're specifically looking for something to say. Does that girl have a great necklace on? I'm going to compliment the necklace and ask her a question. Do I see she's got a lot of kids? Well, that's a pretty cute kid. I'm going to compliment her on her children and ask her, how old are the kids, or are you a stay-at-home mommy? I'm constantly looking for something to compliment and ask a question. I'm at the gym and I see an old 80-year-old lady. An old 80-year-old lady. I'm going to compliment her and tell her she inspires me in the gym. If you see an 80-year-old lady in the gym, you better compliment her, please. It'll make her day. I love complimenting old people, and I love complimenting people who have pets and kids. They're so much more fun. So compliment them and ask a question. This is the important part.
This is what separates the winning conversation from the one that goes nowhere.
Listen. You're looking for clue words in what they're saying. Because when you start listening to the clue words, after you practice long enough, you'll start to listen for clue words. Because if you compliment somebody, I'm at Whole Foods and the lady behind the register is checking me out, I'm going to ask her, oh my God, I hope you're having a great day. What was that one lady?
Oh yeah, so we were at Whole Foods and I said, how's your day going?
There you go. It wasn't a compliment, ask a question. It was just literally just ask a question. How's your day going?
She's like, it could be better. Well, now a lot of people would have said, oh, well, hopefully it gets better. But what I said was, why? What's going on? I'm curious.
This is important because you want to make people feel important and you want to acknowledge people. So all we said was, how are you doing today?
She said, it could be better. And I said, oh, wow.
Clue word, it could be better. Well, I want to find out
why it sucks so bad.
Yeah. Right?
So then at that point I said, well, why? What's going on? And then she opened up like a book. I'm telling you, she went into her arthritis. She went into her back pain. She went into her kids are annoying. She went into her car's breaking down. She's got 3 jobs. This is just one of them. Like, she started telling us about everything. And, that's cool. We just kept, feed it all to me. Because I'll take it and I know exactly what we can do for you. So, eventually what happens, we directed the conversation in a way that said, you know what? You'd be great at what we do.
Well, actually what happens, if you're hearing keywords like, I'm in pain, I have arthritis, my back hurts because I'm standing up all day, the first thing I'm going to ask is, have you cleansed? When's the last time you've cleansed? She'll go, what? Cleanse? What's a cleanse?
We're like, when was the last time you did a nutritional cleanse? And she's like, never. Oh, well, you should do what we do.
That's it.
Guys, but now you should do what we do means that you should do the products that we do. You should do the cleansing that we do, not the business, right? Make it relatable to them. So, but the comment is still the same. The phrase is still the same. You've just guided it into what she needs. She needs a health result. Well, you should do what we do. We do a lot of cleansing. We have this whole superfood thing. It works amazing. I'd love to show you all about it. Oh, really? Okay, well, I'd love to find out more about it. Easy.
Paul and I don't do business cards. We do everything on our phone. Everybody has a phone. And I'm trying to find out if she's on Facebook. So if she's complaining about back pain, when's the last time you cleansed? Back pain and all that kind of relates to inflammation, and cleansing may help with that. It may help with that, right? I'm compliant. It may help with that. Okay, well, I don't know anything about it. Well, you know what? I've got a support page and I've got 34,000 people in there. Why don't I just put you in there and you kind of just take a look around and see what everything's about? Are you on Facebook? And I hand her my phone. I hand her my phone because I'm going to pull up the Facebook app, especially if she's on Facebook. This is building trust. So here, are you on Facebook? And I hand her my phone. I'm instantly building trust right here. She finds, and I'm going to go, okay, that's you? Let me add. I'm going to send you an ad request, and then when you get home, accept my friendship, and I'll plug you in the page real quick. It's so much fun in there.
So that's how simple simple that it is. Guys, it doesn't always have to be compliment, ask a question. It could be an open-ended question as well. How's your day going? She probably hears that question 100 times a day because she's checking people out in a line. But what I did is I took the opportunity to take it to the next level. Take it to a way where now what she's going to tell me, I'm going to be able to serve her.
Now, I want you to watch what's going to happen, because when you ask somebody how their day is going, it's going to be one of two ways if they're having a bad day. They're either in pain physically, or they're in pain because they don't want to be there at work. And I've got a solution for both. You should do what I do. I'm going to ask them both. You should do what I do. I don't care if it's
had somebody throw me the phone yesterday. They were so excited.
So you've got to start listening. Train your ears to listen for the clue words, because whatever they say, you have a solution, and just simply say, well, you should do what I do. Or when's the last time you cleansed? Well, I don't cleanse. Well, I've tried the colon cleanse, and I've tried the... No, you got to do my cleanse. My cleanse is deep, cellular, all-body, and nutritional
You
cleanse.
would love my cleanse. Let me show you what it's all about. Are you on Facebook? Boom.
Right. Keep it simple. Don't verbal vomit, because they're at work. But you get the point. So when you're out and about this week, over the weekend, I really need you to get out of your comfort zone. Force your eyes to see something so that you can say something to somebody. And I'll be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, it will not lead to the business.
It's okay. We're just practicing.
9 times out of 10, it will not lead to the business. That's okay. Have no expectations. Don't go in there with the intention of have anything to do with the business. Just practice seeing things so you can say something. Right? Compliment and ask a question. Compliment and ask a question. Listen to what they're saying so you can pick up on clue words. Well, you should do what I do. Now, here's where it gets really amazing, because this is what's going to really cause you to become a rock star leader. And it's spending more time with your team.
Guys, this is
where everybody messes up. This is where I messed up. And I still mess up on this, but I'm getting so much better. And I want to make sure that you guys are understanding this early on in the game. Can you hold that for me? I want you to 10x everything regarding your team. I want you to edify more. I want you to thank your team more. I want you to find ways to compliment your team more. I want you to connect more. Paul will go into this on what we're talking about here to help your team take the next step. Because there's certain questions that you can connect with your team, ask them a question, and then help your team take the next step. And I want you to congratulate more. When you start doing this, you connect with your team more, you build trust more, things start to move and happen in your business. Jill is a master at this. She edifies Paul and I. She thanks us all the time. She compliments us more than anything, and she's always connecting with us, and I can't tell you how many times she's congratulated us. This is what makes us feel better as a human being, and she lifts us up. She pours belief into us. This right here is the secret sauce on how you become a rock star leader. If you start doing this, if you start 10xing this with your team, I don't care if you have 1 person or 20 people, and just because you enrolled somebody doesn't mean that you don't have a massive team underneath. Start going deep, deep, deep down. There's somebody down there. I didn't enroll Ann on my team.
Guys,
she was way deep down.
If you guys have a shared leg, then you have more than just your own person enrolled in their team on that particular leg. And you can reach out to them too, because everybody could use this. Everyone could use a little bit more thanking in their life. Everyone could use more compliments. Everyone could use more connection and congratulations. Everyone could use more edification. Guys, we don't live in a world that we get any of this anywhere. But in this world, we're going to celebrate people. In this world, we're going to thank them. In this world, we're going to build them up and lift them up on a daily basis. And they're going to be able to count on you to do that for them. And guess what? We'll never stop. We'll never unlink our linked arms with Jill because of it. She's not only built us up so much, but she has shown us a way that changed our life forever with this vehicle. And those two combinations, this stuff, and the way that Jill interacts with us, and then the opportunity that she's provided with us, we're never going to stop. I mean, this is besties forever. You know what I'm saying?
This doesn't have to do with just the team. I mean, regarding the business also. If somebody has a baby, or somebody has a birthday, or somebody is celebrating something, compliment them, congratulate them, connect with them in every single way.
You could do this with your friends on Facebook. I have a few friends that are in workout pages. That I specifically am interacting with them on a daily basis because, I want to build that rapport with them. I want to build that trust with them. I want to create that friendship with them on purpose because I know not only would they be good with what we do, but I would love to have them on the team because they're that kind of a good person.
Yeah. So this right here, if you want to do anything this week or over this weekend, I want you to 10x all of this. You really have to master this part. Start edifying more. Intentionally find ways to edify your team more. Thank them more. Don't be lazy in your language. If you have, let me grab this book real quick. How to Win Friends and Influence People. The sound of someone's name is it sounds like music to them. Don't forget to say someone's name. A lot of people will message me on Facebook and go straight into their question. Don't go straight into your question. Always say someone's name when you're referring to them, when you're communicating with them. The sound of someone's name sounds like music to them, so always say someone's name. Don't just go straight into your request or straight into your question. Compliment. So, what I love to do is say their name, compliment, and then I can go into my question. It's really important to not be lazy in your language. What will people in your team are just competitive? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What if your team is just competitive? Because even if they're competitive, you can still compliment, right? You can still compliment and make them feel special, make them feel important. I don't know what you mean, though. Competitive with you. Anyway, I kind of hope this helps because if you can't master communication, you're really going to have a hard time building your team. If there are people who are competitive on your team, they're just deep reds. So you got to negate that. Smiling and complimenting them and keep edifying them.
Guys, I do want to go over one particular thing on the whiteboard. That was connecting more with your team. What does that mean? Well, okay, connecting in a way that helps them grow. So, finding out where they're at and helping them move to the next step. So, for instance, I interact with a lot of people on our team on a daily basis saying something to the effect of, okay, what's on the agenda today? Who's on the fence? Who's already in the product page? Who's kind of looking, who are your prospects that you're talking to? Is there anybody on your list that would relate to me? Is there anyone that would relate to Lynette a little bit better than just, running solo on this particular prospecting interaction? Like, you guys can help your teammates move their people into the next phase. So, for example, if they're already in the product page, did you follow up with them? Did you add the getting started video? Did you do a Zoom call? Can we do that? Can we set that up? For instance, we had a meeting last night with one of my best friend's friends, and that was an interaction that I forced, or I wanted to have happen. Turns out she was in town, and I was like, well, she's in town, let's go ahead and meet her. So we set up a time. Last night we met with her. It was a great interaction. Everything worked out great.
Okay, so let me back up, because I really want you to understand what he's saying. One of our personally enrolled had an out-of-town guest who was on the fence with our company. She was coming into town, and they were just going to kind of meet up. Nothing regarding the business. Paul forced the interaction. He was like, well, oh my gosh, she's in town. Why don't we all meet and have dinner? Right? And then Paul and I can now talk about the business and engage and bring it up. But our personally enrolled didn't even think about that. So you as the leader need to pick up these clue words. What is your downline doing? What is your team doing? And can you force an interaction? Can you force a meeting together? Can you force to get together and have a cup of coffee or dinner?
Or even a Zoom call
or even a Zoom
something
call?
Like that. Yeah.
So you're connecting with your personally enrolled and people on your team to make sure, can you help them take the next step? What is the next step? Because everybody's on a different journey, right? If they've added people into the product page, well, then you need to help them take the next step. Did you follow up with them?
Yeah, some people don't know what to do
with a particular video? Yeah. Or if you have a brand new person jump on board, help them get their products paid for and show them how to do it. Help them find 2 people. That would be their next step. So helping people go to the next step will help your business go to the next step, right?
But again, it's with the mentality that you are in business. This is a real business that you are the head of. You're moving this thing in the right direction, so you're going to have to take 100% responsibility for the effort and the results that you're getting.
So leaders go first. Don't wait for things to happen. There's certain things that you can actually do as a leader and force things to move in a different direction.
Or at least encourage it. If force is a strong word, you can encourage the movement of the next step. So I hope this helps. I know we went over kind of a lot of stuff about communication. I hope some of that clarified some of the things about getting to the 4 F's. But of course, we tend to go over it all again here. So
this one was really hard to explain because sometimes you can't really teach people how to connect. Prior to Isogenics, I was a bartender and I waited tables. And even though I hated waited tables and I hated bartending, it actually set me up today in this business for better customer service. And don't forget that 85% of your business are happy customer users. So you've got to make sure that they're happy. That's why the 14-day talk is magnificent, and it's a brilliant thing to have. It's a specific conversation that you have with your prospects to make sure that they understand what's happening during the cleansing process during the next 2 weeks that you're with them, that there are no surprises. Because if you're not connecting with somebody to make sure they know where they're going, they're going to fall off, and then you've lost retention. So the 14-day talk is so important. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll go over the 14-day talk on another episode. But that's something that Paul and I teach is the 14-day talk. It helps build retention, but it's also a way that you're communicating. You're always trying to communicate in the best way. Now the 4 F's consist of this. Once you've made a connection with somebody outside, I'm not talking about branding yourself on Facebook. When you're out and about and you make a connection with somebody, you compliment and then you ask a question, you're trying to lead to, you should do what I do. You should do what I do, because that person will go, well, what do you do? Well, I help people feel better. I help people get fabulously fit. Financially free. Are you on Facebook? Well, I have too many. Let me recount that.
This was before.
So compliment. Oh my gosh, you're at it's Friday night, so go out to dinner tonight. Practice on the waiter tonight. You've waited tables on us. You gave us great customer service. Thank you so much. How long have you been working here? Well, about 2 years. Do you like it? No, I hate it here. Well, are you doing anything else on the side? No, I'm not looking for anything. I don't know what else to do. Well, you should do what I do, because you'd be really great at it.
Oh, what do you do?
Well, I help people feel better, get fabulously fit, financially free. Are you on Facebook? Even if you can't remember all the F's, it doesn't make a difference. We're just trying to get you focused so you don't stumble on your words. If you can't remember all the F's, don't worry about it. This is the only one that you need to remember. Are you on Facebook? Because I can show you exactly what I do. You'd be so good at it. Let me add you to my support page. Are you on Facebook? And find them. Find them on Facebook. Okay? So
hopefully that helps. We're going to wrap it up. We've got like 9 or 10 more episodes, and then we're going to make sure that we hit every topic that we possibly can, so you guys have the full platter and buffet to digest
so
it all.
10x everything, 10x your communication. Don't be lazy in your language. Communicate with your team, edify them more, make them feel special, congratulate them on rank advancement, congratulate your customers and your prospects, or if they've lost weight, congratulate them on losing weight. Congratulate people if they did something. Congratulate people if they posted amazing on their personal page. Take a screenshot that and put that in your business page and congratulate them. Just congratulate. Find something to congratulate and edify people and make them feel worthy. Make people feel good. Just focus and 10x everything and make people feel special and make them smile. That's what we're doing, just adding value to people's lives. And the only way that you can do that is if you master the way that you communicate. Say people's names. Say their names when you communicate with them, okay? Don't be lazy in your language, okay? With that said, have an awesome weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, want nothing more than for you to live the most extraordinary life.
Always free from physical and financial pain.
So join us on this mission.
Because it's a stone cold fact.
We do. We've got a better way. Let's go tell the world. We love you.